You know, as an old school teacher for many years, I had a roll book in front of me, but after a while, I would get to the point I didn't need that roll book. Most of the time here in White Springs, when you know people from one year to the other, when you've known the family for generations, you don't need a roll book. I've known this family, the Register family, for as long as I've been alive. I knew all of them. There was a new lady that moved to town a few years ago at a place where I was teaching. She said, "Mr. Bullard, do you have any advice for me living in a new place?" I said, "I sure do." I said, "Don't talk about anybody." I said, "Everybody is related. I want to tell you that." And in White Springs, there were 3 Bullard brothers that married 3 Joyner sisters, and there were more double first cousins than you can imagine. And in the Register family, there was Mr. Bill and Miss Ada Register. There was Mr. Jake and Miss Donnie Mae Register, and there were 2 brothers that married 2 sisters, and they were all double first cousins. How closely is that related? Close. And so, but all of them have been wonderful people, wonderful citizens. I'll tell you something else, as Mr. John said. I learned a little poem years ago when I was in school, and it was by Jessamine West, just the first part of it. It went, "Freedom is a hard-bought thing, a gift no man can give. For some, a way of dying, for most, a way to live." And I think that's an important thing for us to remember. Another important thing is that things don't become real for you sometime until they come knocking on your door. When it comes and knocks at your door, then it's real for you. Mr. Halworth, who was a longtime principal here, told me one time, he said, "Johnny, there's a difference between sympathy and empathy." He said, empathy means you feel for somebody, but sympathy means you feel with them. Now, I can remember as clear as if it were yesterday, the year my daddy and Uncle Warren told me about Deborah, Cecil, I could name all of them, Janice is here, when their brother, Billy Register, was killed in Vietnam when he gave his life for this nation. The reason it was real for me was I knew him. He had worked on our farm. He was a close personal friend. There were people who were, I'm sure many others than I know, who were dying across the nation, but when it knocks at your door, it becomes real for you. And we're here today because people like him gave their lives for this nation. Don't ever forget that. Any freedom that a person has that's worth anything, it's been paid for dearly. And this freedom we enjoy has been paid for with hundreds of thousands of lives. People who suffer still every day in VA hospitals across this nation, in nursing homes, for us to have this freedom that we enjoy. Mr. John said nobody forced you to come here, but it was paid for you to come here. I want all the members of the Register family to stand if they would. There's their number here, children, grandchildren, cousins, and let's give them a big round of applause. And we appreciate each one being here today. Thank you.